So it's like ladies have to work hard. People on gear have to work hard. You always have to work hard, bro. This is what you should remember. But we just wanted to give you a quick impression of like what it feels like coming off cycle.
So coming off really isn't pleasant, and it's the mental discipline that you need in order to push through that. It's something that you should go through. It's something that you now need to process, that you need to allow your body to go through.
The thing is that this was the worst time. That was the first time when I only ever used trend, and that was horrible, bro. Sawadee Cup. Hola amigos, it's just me, Joe, looking fucked as hell, man. But Jan just said, what do you say, bro? That if every T-shirt Noel wears kind of looks quite crazy, right?
It's like
But then I wanted to bring in this point. So when back in the days, I went natty. A couple of times I went natural for a longer period of time, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year even. And then being from like, I was 105 kgs once and had a nice clothing, blah, blah, blah. And then you go natty and then your shoulders and stuff is just... And before, when I was wearing a shirt, I was also feeling like, yeah, man, this is good stuff. You can kind of wear anything and it just looks buff.
Yeah, that's
like,
Steve. I'm seeing him every day.
Yeah.
I see him
And
every
then, me too, bro. Like, I see you in this shirt, like you wear the same as me. This one, I'm like I just told you, like the shirts doesn't really fit me so well. And then you see it on somewhere else.
That's how I gauge my progress. I hate the scale, bro. The scale fucks with my head. You want to be up, you're down. You want to be down, you're up. The scale is my worst enemy. I just gauge it by how clothes feel on me and fuck what I look like in the mirror. Bro.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. And then, but just like what I want to say is, when you go natty, the shoulders and the traps just don't pop that much anymore.
Yeah.
And then the clothing just look different.
It doesn't fit you the same.
No, that's why I'm saying don't even start using that stuff, bro, because you might get hooked.
Well, I used to do the same. I used to go on cycle once a year. Like 11 weeks.
To a 12 months.
Once a year.
Typically, I do a 12-month cycle.
Yeah. And then we just talk about the mental negative side effects thereafter in terms of coming off.
Oh, yes. How is it coming off cycle? Because if you want to ask me real quick about how is it coming off cycle, when you come off test, first 4 weeks, I mean, Jan also can probably talk and give a good view. First few weeks, 4 weeks, I believe it takes like 4 weeks to get out of your system. And then also what I always felt like in the third, fourth, fifth week, my sweat and all that is very smelly. Like it's some changes going on in your body somehow, and like stuff gets out, and it's like then already I had some bad sweats always like for like a week, and also and then my whole look kind of like changed. In the first week, nothing happened. Second week, almost nothing happened. Third, fourth, fifth week, and then also for the workouts personally, all of a sudden it just started to fucking burn everything. Everything just started to burn. Humps fade away.
Did you go like cold turkey coming off? Or
yeah, sadly, I did fucking cold turkeys, yeah.
What I used to do was I would get like...
Because I got to my dog, right? And every time I told him like, yeah, but I never want to do that again, no? And he's like, yeah, but then also don't do a PCT. Then your body like, but it's also bullshit that they talk like your body have to do it naturally.
Yeah.
Establish this connection to your brain. And if you just use now Clomid and Tamoxifen and all that stuff, then you just postpone, blah, blah, blah. And it's like...
So what I would do is, so I would typically PCT, and post PCT I would run like Tonga, Ali, the more natural testosterone boosters, and this would just, whether or not it was placebo with some sort of minimal benefits, I would still feel like it wasn't a pointless training session, you know.
And how was it for you in terms of like feeling when you come off cycle with psychological effects, blah, blah, like which has been spoken?
In psychological, in terms of more cognitive function, or in terms of how I felt?
Everything. Like I say, I look in the mirror, all of a sudden, these shirts don't fit me good anymore. Like for me, I really went to the gym and I didn't get fucking pumps. Everything is burning and just like, is there anything you can report?
So I went through that for quite a few years, and it really does take its toll. It does take its toll mentally, to the extent where a lot of people, they're off for a week or two. Generally by about 3 weeks it should start, depending on the esters, it should start coming out of your system, but by week 4 you'll start to noticeably see and feel the differences, and a lot of people just can't make it to that point, to that marker, and they just end up...
You make a good point. I personally, I never had that, because it doesn't matter how bad it was gonna be. I was doing it, and like I said, I became weak. That I just like even after like 3-4 months, I was going back on because I was like, fuck, it's tough.
No,
and
it's tough. Right?
and but I know a lot, like you say, a lot of people they don't make it through 4, 5 weeks, 6 weeks when the real bad effects started. You don't feel that good anymore, look that good anymore, and your power goes and all that stuff, and you change in the look and all that stuff. That when a lot of people they just go back. I saw it many times. 2 weeks back, 3 weeks back, 1 month they go back. I'm like a proper post off season. You go off for like 3 to 6 months. You give your body rest. Always, let's say, two times your cycle time is your rest time. Technically, they would say if you take 3 months on, 6 months off. Until I at one point, I fucked myself up and decided with the doctor to stay on TRT. Ultimately, but just coming off cycle, any more features or things that are negative of coming off cycle?
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Had you have
tough.
libido problems in this extent? Because personally, I can say that it's like for me is didn't was that nice, to be honest, bro.
Yeah, libido again, depending on obviously what you take, but typically libido.
I came off
strength, typically size,
the thing is that this was time when this was the worst time. That was the first time when I only ever used trend, and that was horrible, bro. That was really horrible. It really, this is also why it's depending on what exactly have you been using. If you just come off test, one thing. You come off test, trend, mass, prints, all this stuff, different. Also in terms of like what kind of trigger did you had prolactin and all that stuff, right? It's some of the things like people that say I used trend and I couldn't recover, bro, for like 6, 8, 12 months. And also in terms of this is when your hormone levels and all that, like in terms of Clomid, what you take, Tamox or HCG to come off cycle and all these meds is a PCT that are good or
those
able to use.
I mean, those will sometimes fuck you up so bad.
What did
mentally, emotionally, that's a roller coaster. So coming off really isn't pleasant, and it's the mental discipline that you need in order to push through that. It's something that you should go through. It's something that you now need to process, that you need to allow your body to go through. But it's fucking tough, guys.
Actually, it's also a good point that you make, because it's like you cannot always just have this up. You at one point need to be okay, and then you say, you know, it's going to be a tough fucking ride here now for the next 3 to 6 months. But in order to also become a strong individual and prove yourself this discipline that you gained, you push through that. And then, you know what I mean? You set this goal, I'm going to go off 3 months, and then stick to it and not just get weak and jump back on and all these things.
I've seen a lot over the years where like guys just can't handle it. They can't handle the reduction in strength, endurance. I mean, there's a couple of things. I don't want to romanticize it too much, but they start to notice a couple of things with the come off, and they end up maybe staying off injectables and going on and relying on orals just to give them that
advantage.
Something to get them through their workouts and to keep them going to the gym, because coming off and just running clean for someone that has been on, a lot of guys just don't even want to go to the gym.
Yeah, I definitely started to increase all my supplement intake.
Enjoy their workouts.
Yeah, pre-workouts and all that. I would be using so much more like beta-alanine and all that stuff, like things that help you to not get that burn that much and maybe like recover quicker. So in the moment when I went off cycle, I tried to make everything 100% more correct, even and much better, and work even more accurate. So it's like ladies have to work hard. People on gear have to work hard. You always have to work hard, bro. This is what you should remember. But we just wanted to give you a quick impression of like what it is feels like coming off cycle. Be aware that it might be a life-changing decision that you make when you jump on. Therefore, you have to ask yourself, how much does fitness already mean to you in your life? And if it's a really big part, it might be worth it.
And what sort of personality do you have? Do you have an addictive personality? Because if you do, it's going to be very difficult to accept and come off the physical high that you're on, the performance high that you're on. So yeah, do you have the personality that can actually handle going on?
Ask yourself first all these questions, bro, and then make a decision. And most importantly is make sure that you ask yourself enough and get someone who knows much better than you. some guide, mentor that can help you with this. But we are not talking about the next best internet guru like me, bro. Don't listen even what I say, bro. It's just thanks for watching, but make sure you consider all kinds of.
Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.